You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
Folks at Fox News, they're just quite genius, okay, because, they just love to talk about what's going on here. So before I play for you what Dr. Phil said, so check this out. So Dr. Anthony Fauci was on Laura Ingram's show, and if y'all want to see how she is not the brightest bulb in a dark room, listen to this idiotic question and just watch the facial response of Dr. Fauci. Folks, go right to it here.
Area where you have very few people.
Question of a vaccine.
Hold on one second. Come back to me. Come back to me. All right. So let me go ahead and clear some audio here. There are a couple of things that are going. This is, first of all, when you see this video, I saw it, and if you want to understand why these nuts are running around the country holding these protests, it's because they're watching Fox News and they are literally feeding these nuts. And if y'all just want to kill yourselves, go right ahead. But that's pretty much what y'all doing. Okay, here we go. Check this out.
Dr. Fauci, on the question of a vaccine, we don't have a vaccine for SARS. I mean, they got close in mice. We don't have a vaccine for HIV. And life did go on, right? So the idea that we're definitely going to have a vaccine, we didn't really approach much else in the same way as we're pegging going back to normal with a vaccine. Did we?
Well, no, but Laura, this is different. HIV/AIDS is entirely different. We don't have a vaccine for HIV/AIDS, but we have spectacularly effective treatment. People who invariably would have died years ago right now are leading essentially normal lives. SARS is a different story. SARS disappeared. We developed a vaccine. We were in the process of going through the various phases. We showed it was safe. We showed it induced a good response. And then SARS disappeared. And we didn't need to develop a vaccine for SARS. So I think it's a little bit misleading maybe to compare what we're going through now with HIV or SARS. They're really different.
But we don't know. This could disappear. I mean, SARS did pretty much disappear. This could as well, correct?
Yeah. You know, anything could, Laura, but I have to tell you, the degree of efficiency of transmissibility of this is really unprecedented in anything that I've seen. It's an extraordinarily efficient virus in transmitting from one person to another. Those kind of viruses don't just disappear.
Okay.
Then the next night, they called Dr. Phil. Y'all go ahead.
250 people a year die from poverty. And the poverty line is getting such that more and more people are going to fall below that because the economy is crashing around us. And they're doing that because people are dying from the coronavirus. I get that. But look, the fact of the matter is we have people dying. 45,000 people a year die from automobile accidents, 480,000 from cigarettes, 360,000 a year from swimming pools. But we don't shut the country down for that. But yet we're doing it for this. And the fallout is going to last for years because people's lives are being destroyed.
And
y'all know he's not a medical doctor. Y'all also know he gave up his license in Texas. My panel, Tiffany Dina Lofton, Director, NAACP Youth and College Division, Dr. Chris Metzler, Conservative Analyst, Lauren Victoria Burke, National Newspaper Publishers Association. Chris, what the hell? I mean, seriously? Laura Ingram's actually saying, well, we didn't have a vaccine for HIV/AIDS. Chris, a bus driver in Michigan is dead because a woman coughed. He got coronavirus. He was dead 2 weeks later. There are no stories ever of someone having sex and getting HIV or AIDS and they're dead 2 weeks later. What the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, first of all, the comparison is just simply ridiculous. I mean, one of the things that I do is I own a number of medical companies. We do COVID testing every day. If you look at the virology of this, it is not, that is like comparing apples to eggs here. That is simply not a valid comparison. And then to have doctors, I'm not sure why Dr. Phil was supposed to counter Dr. Fauci.
Right.
I'm completely confused.
We got Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, what's the other doctor? Dr. Drew, and then Dr. Drew screws up. He got to apologize. Oz got to apologize. Then Dr. Phil, who don't know jack about medicine. First of all, he said 250 people die each year of poverty. It's 250,000. He then said 360,000 die swimming pool accidents. No, it's 3,500. But here's the other deal, Chris. If you keep saying, well, here are X Americans who died because of cigarettes. I don't smoke.
Those are false. Those are false choices.
But I can die of coronavirus.
Yeah, those are simply false choices. Look, if you want to have a discussion about the economy, have those discussions. If you want to have a conversation about craziness, you can talk to Dr. Phil about that. But when you're talking about science here and when you're talking about biology here, those are simply not the appropriate guests in a situation like that. Because what it further does, and this is the problem that we're finding, what it further does is it simply confuses the process.
Yeah, it does. And that, Tiffany, is why you got these idiots in Michigan who are protesting with their Trump flags and their Confederate flags. Those seem to go together. And all this sort of stuff. They actually blocked an ambulance. They actually blocked an ambulance from being able to do the work. Then I'm talking to my parents today, and this dumbass woman in Texas, I don't care if I catch coronavirus. I don't care if I die. I want my liberty. Your ass ain't got no liberty or no freedom if you dead. The governor of Michigan, Tiffany, said, take your pick. You want 6 feet apart or 6 feet under?
That's the two options that you have. Let's be very clear, Roland. As of right now, nobody should be calling him Dr. Phil anymore. His name is Phil. He has been removed from his title and privileges of being called doctor. That's number one. Number two is, if we pay attention to the dog whistling in his comments, he said folks die from poverty and folks are dying from coronavirus. And the folks who are mostly impacted by both of those issues are poor people and people of color. Dr. Phil, I looked it up when you were playing the tape. His salary is $80 million and his net worth is $440 million. He ain't got to worry about neither one of those issues. But poor people and people of color do. And so for him to have even the mental strength to come on TV and say, this is not a big deal, it's just like poverty. Poor people die from poverty all the time, and people die from coronavirus, goes to show you not only his white privilege, but also we are removing his title as doctor, period. Our folks need to take this seriously. Roland, my mother has been let off from both of her jobs and lives in Los Angeles, California. There are 22 million people who have lost their job because of this, and folks are taking it seriously. Now, back to what you said really quickly about Donald Trump and Governor Cuomo. It looks like two parents who separated, who are not trying to take responsibility for their kids, but still have to do their job and do the work to take care of the people that they serve. And this is why elections in November are so important. Because at the end of the day, the folks who are making the decisions about the stimulus packages, our health care, our schools shutting down, our jobs, your $1,200 check that you're going to get with Donald Trump's name on it, et cetera, all of that is coming from people that we are voting for or that we choose not to vote for. And that's why November is so important. And we got to remove Donald Trump from office.
But
period.
Lauren, so now all of a sudden, Phil worries about the poverty? Now, all of a sudden, there's a concern. And somebody might be who's watching, and I'm looking at your comments on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Oh, that's Fox News. Y'all, but here's the problem. This is even broader. It's so many in conservative media. Michael Savage, okay, you will never, ever in your life hear me say anything positive about Michael Savage. But I'm reading the New York Times, Lauren, and Michael Savage is going, y'all are idiots listening to Sean Hannity, who he mockingly calls Dr. Hannity, and Dr. Limbaugh. Why? Because Michael Savage, even though he's a nut, has a PhD and studied epidemiology.
Right.
He's been screaming, y'all, this thing is real. But you have conservative media who is just waving a flag, oh, this is blown out of proportion. And the problem is, Lauren, they are talking to lawmakers and governors and state reps and state senators and members of Congress and business leaders, and they're listening to these nuts.
Yeah, well, what's actually going on here is just the Fox News game of protecting Donald Trump. And the reason that, of course, Trump doesn't want to do more testing is he doesn't want to find out that the numbers are bigger than they actually are. The reason that you have Dr. Phil somehow sitting there crossing Dr. Fauci is they're trying to message it's no big deal, it's no big deal, it's no big deal. And they're also trying to message that, of course, closing our businesses and closing down our way of life is something that somehow is a decision that is hurting Trump, but is made by other people. That's why you have all this stuff about the governors. So, as Tiffany just said, it's like 22 million people filing for unemployment. We have 110,000 businesses that are going out of business as we speak. But this is all messaging. It's all PR. It's all following the Pied Piper of Donald Trump down the road to nowhere because he is doing PR. He is not doing public policy. He's not interested in public policy. The people he hires in the White House are not interested in public policy. They're interested in getting past the next PR moment, and they're in huge trouble. I think, frankly, I will be absolutely shocked if he wins this election. This entire thing is him. It's him not reading his intel report in January and talking about vaping, okay? It's him not preparing the country for this pandemic. He can't blame it on anybody else. And no amount of PR and no amount of dancing around is going to change that because now we have, 35,000 people dead in a month? And all because we weren't prepared, because we didn't prepare early enough, because he wanted to fool around and act like this was no big deal. Them acting like it's no big deal is their attempt to try to save Donald Trump from the inevitable reality that nobody is going to ignore at the end of this when we end up with 50 or 60,000 people in the end dead because of COVID.
Every single night. We've got some of the top black experts. You're not going to see them on cable news or broadcast news because you swear black people aren't experts when it comes to this health crisis. That's why we have this show and why we do what we do every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Joining us right now is retired General Russell Honore, the nation's first black Surgeon General, Dr. Joycelyn Elders. John Hope Bryant, he is the founder of Operation Hope. Senator Kamala Harris of California, Dr. Sadrina Calder, retired General Lloyd Austin, Congresswoman Karen Bass, Commissioner Omari Hardick, Bureau President in Brooklyn, Eric Adams, Dr. Joseph Graves, America's Wealth Coach, Deborah Owens, Dr. Corey Abear, Patel Salt, Howard University student, Pastor Jamal Bryant, Dr. Christy McDowell, Benja Ajilore, senior economist at the Center for American Progress, Gilda Daniels, again, author of the book, The Crisis of Voter Suppression in America. 4 stars, General Kip Ward. Dr. Oliver Brooks is president of the National Medical Association, president of the American Medical Association, Dr. Patrice Harris. Joby Benjamin, Dr. Alexia Gaffney, infectious disease specialist, Dr. Georges Benjamin, executive director of the American Public Health Association, Malcolm Nance, family medicine physician, Dr. Jen Caudle, Dr. Tashaka Cunningham, a molecular biologist, Kat Stafford. She's a national race and ethnicity reporter for the Associated Press. Dr. Wayne A.R. Frederick, who is the president of Howard University. Congresswoman Yvette Clarke from the state of New York. William Spriggs, AFL-CIO economist. Andrea James, Executive Director of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. All right, let's go to Capitol Hill. Congressman Gregory Meeks, Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson of Texas, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, mental health clinician Jamie Singletary, Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Brayboy, as well as Dylan Hayrie, ACLU Justice Division Strategist. Dr. Cindy Duke, she is a virologist. Principal Steve Perry of Capitol Prep. Health and Wellness Specialist Dr. Yolanda Hancock. Desmond Meade, President of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. Cliff Albright, who is the co-founder of Black Voters Matter. Michael Harriot with the Root. Mina McWhorter, founder of Love by the Hand. Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist, president, Emerita Bennett College. Coroner Michael Fowler is the mayor of Atlanta. Keisha Lance Bottoms, mental health therapist Suzette Clark. Justin Gibney, attorney and political strategist, and Bishop Vincent Matthews Jr. Dr. Suzette McKinney, CEO and executive director of the Illinois Medical District. Dr. Leon Madugal, president-elect of the National Medical Association. Jana Bailey, mayor of Moss Point, Mississippi. Mario King. We're going to keep driving this thing to make sure our people are fully aware, safe, protected from coronavirus. You're getting the top medical experts, the top business experts, top political experts, top religious experts, because that's why we do what we do. Unapologetically and unfiltered. Ain't nobody else in the black media space doing what we do. Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.